Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the Tuesday topic.
You went behind and I realised
No,
it
there's
wasn't
no.
the day.
You don't go behind the Tuesday topic.
You literally went behind.
You're careful.
Yeah, you've got to be careful.
Careful with the TV.
Okay.
Talking about?
Talking about your player ratings, aren't we?
Oh,
You know, Mark Zobel.
No, Mark Zobel, patron Mark Zobel, has been
busy
keeping a tally of the player rating scores, which is nice of him.
That's good because it means at the end of the season we can have a Toffee TV Player of the Year, which
Sort of
awarded by you.
I've been keeping an eye on it, and he said, you know, apart from the Spurs ratings, which he's decided to omit from the.
Oh, because you just lost it, yeah.
Well, I mean, losing it. I mean, Everton sort of lost it. I just added to the added to it. So, who would be your player of the season so far?
That's a
Pound for pound.
That is a tough one, kid. It's really difficult because, and I'll tell you why it's difficult, because Michael Keane has played really well, I think, and certainly from where he was last year in a lot of people's minds to this year, I think he's been very good. He's made the odd mistake, of course, he has, but in general he's been very good. I think the introduction of Andre Gomez has given us a different, you know, thing, and I don't think you can count out Richarlison. I know that there's a lot of games go by and he's not in them, but he's got 9 goals in 20 games or something. Did you expect him to have 9 goals when he was signed at this time of the year? I'm not sure you did. He got 5 last year.
I did say he was going to be top goal scorer this season. It's on tape.
Well, that might be fine, but he might have had 10, and that would have been
not
difficult to be top goal scorer.
You said Tosin.
At Everton. I probably did say Tosin.
No, you did say Tosin.
Well, to be fair, Tosin's been horrendous, and there's probably only like half a dozen goals behind him. So, but you know, for the player of the year for me so far this season, I would probably give it to Michael Keane.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you admitted one player there.
Gylfi?
No.
Bernardo Love?
No.
And I would have put him in.
I'm here all day.
So I've got to go for it. No, this is me player. Sorry, Michael Keane. I love you. I don't. I like you. You know, good player. Yeah. Luca Dean is by far my player of the year. I don't even know what I was thinking.
Just waiting for you to catch up.
Oh, yeah, I've caught up. No, I've caught up. Luca Dean, who's come in and been, quite frankly, exceptional for most of his Everton performances. Obviously, had to wait for the 4 games in to get his first start against Huddersfield, but started that with a goal, that assist rather, for Calvert-Lewin, and hasn't looked back and has been excellent really since. So yeah, he definitely Luca Dean, and then I would have to say Michael Keane.
Well, I'm gonna start from the bottom and work my way up.
And these are your ratings.
These are my ratings. That all they are my ratings.
Match ratings.
Match ratings. Okay. You know, Martin Stecklenberg played 2 games. His average is 4.5.
About right, yeah.
Kieran Dowell, 2 games. Average
5.
4.75.
Okay.
Phil Jagielka, 1 game.
Okay. How's he got more than Kieran Stecklenberg? He's literally played 37 minutes or something at Wolves. 5. You give him a 5 for that?
Because I didn't think it was a send-off.
That wasn't send-off.
But I give him less because I thought because if it's first touch.
His first touch was shot.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin played 14 games. Now, this will probably dismiss the myth. Well, it's not a myth that I maybe.
You do love Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You love him.
So what's his?
Well, just because no, I think what this is proves that he's not at the level you think he is.
But this proves that I'm not.
No, you're not blinded by him by any stretch of the imagination, but you do
love
him. You do think you have fathered them or think you are.
I don't think I've fathered
Dominic, I reckon it's probably about 5.2.
5.3. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Theo Walcott played 22 games.
Ooh, that's low down there. Can't argue with stats. 5.
This is not exactly stats.
Well, it's stats compiled of what your rating is from a game.
From my inside my head.
5.4.
5.48.
Okay.
Next on the list. Have a little guess.
Inconsistency. Tom Davis.
No. Seamus Coleman. 14 games. 5.53.
Yeah, I think that's about right. First.
Next.
Okay. Tom.
Umar. 6 games.
Has he played 6 games?
5.5.
Wow, I didn't realise he'd been involved in that many games.
Next. 16
Snidler.
games.
16?
Shentosen.
Yeah.
5.56. Right.
Yeah.
The next two are tied.
Lee.
5.67. One's played 9 games. One's played 6 games. Two young players.
Adam O'Loughlin.
No.
John Joe Kenny.
No.
Tom Davis.
Yes.
Mason Holgate.
Yes. 5.67. Again, anyone out there who thinks I'm blinded by certain players, nonsense. There you go.
He played very well Saturday for West Brom, by the way.
He did, apparently. Adam O'Loughlin, 11 games.
6.
5.91.
Okay.
John Joe Kenny, 8 games. 5.94.
Okay.
Morgan Snidler, 6 games. 6.16.
Okay.
Right, we're starting to hit the upper echelons now.
Yeah. In the 6s.
Doesn't get above 6.
Doesn't it?
No.
So it kind of shows where we are,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it doesn't get above 6.
Okay.
Again, that's
cool.
proof in the pudding. 20 games with Charlison. 6.17.
One better than Snidler. You need to sort your ratings out, son. 9 goals in 20 games.
Snyder's only played 6 games though. Charles played more, and he's obviously played well in some and been not good in others. What's that mean? Inconsistency. Gylfi Sigurdsson, 21 games.
6.2.
6.19. Yerry Mina, 10 games, 6.2. Leighton Baines, 6 games, 6.33. Bernard, 18 games, 6.36. Jordan Pickford, 20 games, 6.5. Idrissa Gana Gueye, 18 games, 6.56. By the way, let me just clarify that Spurs game isn't counted in this, so if people are going, who's played more? Andre Gomez,
Yeah.
13 games, 6.692. Oof,
Okay.
getting a few decimals here.
Yeah.
Top 3 now.
Yeah.
Top 3.
Luca Dean.
Yeah. You've already said it.
Michael Keane.
Yeah. And the other one.
And Kurt Zuma.
Okay. So they're the top 3.
Yeah.
In no particular order. No particular order.
Okay, yeah.
So in third place with 18 games, Michael Keane, 6.694. So just slightly above Andre Gomez.
Yeah. Okay.
In second place with 6.7 is
Kurt Zuma.
Luca Dean. And with 16 games and 6.71, Kurt Zuma is at this stage my top player of the season so far. But I mean, you're talking fractions. You're talking between
of course.
Between Richarlison 6.17 to Kurt Zuma 6.71. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players. Not the first 11 because Leighton Baines is in there, but there's 11. So there's 10 players in the first team regulars.
And I suppose if you're talking average performance is 6, which is what I think a lot of people would class as an average performance in a game, then that's probably about right. Everton are currently lying 10th in the Premier League.
I normally say on my ratings that 7 is my normal.
That's your
That's
average.
like my average. That's like if you've had a decent, if you've done nothing wrong in a game, you'll get a 7.
Oh no, man.
So if Jordan Pickford just likes like a normal game, he doesn't do anything wrong,
You'd give him a
but he
7.
doesn't do anything amazing, I'd give him a 7.
Oh,
that's like the best. But 6, that's fine. Other people
the
have different.
baseline up for me was a 6.
So
I'd done them that, so you'd have
So below 7, I think number one, that shows that I'm fair, even, and accurate. And the second thing is that we are inconsistent.
Well, I think it shows that, it's played out with where we are in the league, really, which is mid-table. It's average. If you look at the average stats or ratings you give them, then play that off against the league position. I think it's quite accurate, really, is that the potential's there to be better, but at the moment we're just bang average, and that's what we are. I think the problem you've got is, I remember doing them a couple of years when we first got Garner, and he was 8 every week. And his rating was like high 7s, 7.8 or whatever by Christmas. Here, we're talking 6.7. So no one has... for me, I disagree, because I think Luca Dean would have the lowest he'd have ever got, probably a 6, but he's got 9 in quite a few games, I think. But in general, no one's really took the bull by the horns in these opening 21 games. They've all had good spells. Richarlison's had... He's probably been a big disappointment of late, Richarlison, because I think he started the season absolutely brilliantly, and he came back from his suspension and was still brilliant. But I'd say the last 6 weeks, he's really dropped off, and that could be a bit jaded. It could be the fact that he's been moved as well. The team aren't playing as well as they were, so there'll be reasons for it. But I think Andre Gomez is one who was, like we said before, he's come in and really. He started to conduct the way we play, so he's been a key part. But again, his performances. I think it's a genius plan by him. It was brilliant. Yeah. Got everyone excited, and then thought, "I'm going Barca. This is coming up to the window. Yeah. Play crap for a few weeks, and then Barca go quick, just sell him for 22. Just get rid of him quick. He's going crap again quick, and then he'll just come back and be amazing when we sign him full time." He's obviously a player who's dropped off a little bit, but. Consistency-wise, Zuba's been good, but then again, against Lincoln he was horrendous. So I think they've all been a bit like that. Keane's been good, then made a couple of basic mistakes. Yerry Mina's looked great one game and then bit all over the place in the next. And suppose if we can find that level of consistency, that's when
I think if there was 10 players in there who were all in the 7s, I think you'd probably say, well, Everton would be in.
It'd be at least
7th, 8th, and I think that's the big problem, isn't it? Is that we tend to have, and again, I tell you what's really interesting there as well. I say really interesting, this is science. It's me who's done it, but I think the fact that even if I wanted to, which I haven't been able to distinguish one player who. Because it's dead easy to do the ratings, and it's dead easy to look at 2 players who have similar games. One you mightn't like as much, and one you do like, and go, you were at 8 and you were at 6. It's dead easy to do that sometimes. I try not to do that.
It's just an opinion, isn't it? On the game.
But I try not to do that, because I try to make that the time actually me player ratings where I do get into people. And anyone out there who thinks I'm biased, I think that proves that I'm not. There's no one in there who's at 8. There's nobody. Even Dean, you go, Dean's been amazing this season. But then if you break it go to me now, if you were to say, or I was to say to you, Luca Dean, what do you think of him so far? You go, being a 7 this season. That's easy to do if you're doing it over one goal. But when you've broke it down every game and you're getting the raw emotion after the performance and you're getting what you truly think, it's better to break it down like that. And I think that's the problem, is that there's not a couple of players who are 8s. If we'd had a couple of players who are 8s, even Richarlison with a few goals and even Gylfi Sigurdsson with a few goals, it's that thing of going, well, one week they're a fucking 8 and then the next week they're a 4 and there's no in between. And until we get 5, 6, 7 players who, like you just said, who are at a 7 every single week, and it doesn't really move from, or if it does, it goes, to an 8 or maybe drops to a 6. We're not going to be anywhere near that top 6. We're just not, because it's even more that there's 5, 6, 7 players. There's 10 there. There's 10 regulars there that you look at and go, none of you are making 7.
I think when you look at it, it's dead easy to to make ratings up. And it's hard to do. I've done it, and I'm glad you do it now. Because it is hard to do sometimes, because you look at a game and go, well, what's he actually done in this or whatever. And you don't want to go too high and too low with players, because sometimes they can, Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the weekend, he hardly done anything, but he had an assist. So some people are giving him an 8 for an assist, and you go, well, he done nothing else in the game though. And it's hard to balance that up. But I think when you're looking at clubs who are above us, and I'm talking about the perceived top 6, they've got players whose level of performance is still virtually always 7s and 7.5s, and you might look and go, don't like him, but if you actually watch the game, he affects the game. Whereas Everton, I think we've got a really talented squad. I do. I think it needs to be better, of course I do. But when you look at some players, just because you like them, you can't make them better than what they are, because they're not the performance.
Well, you're just kidding yourself, aren't you?
But that's the thing. Performance, like Bernard for me could play in any of the top 6 easily and fit in quite comfortably. But he doesn't do it all the time for us, and that might be because he hasn't got better players, or it might just be because at this moment in time he's inconsistent. Richarlison, 8 weeks ago people were talking about him playing for Barcelona. He get near Barcelona's side.
I think
and he may well do in a few years.
That's the problem though, isn't it? It's like you'd have your Bernards and you'd have your Richarlisons, and every team has those players. But what you've got to have are players down the middle of that park, who are Pickford shouldn't be any less than a 7. Never should never be less than a 7.
His own worst.
He is his own worst enemy. We know that. One of your centre halves, your commanding centre half, should never be less than a 7. No. Never.
Not if you're to do well.
One of your centre midfielders should never be less than a 7, and you hope that your centre forward, maybe. But certainly those 3 positions down the spine should never be less than a 7. Okay, I will always say, so on Saturday I think I was given Richarlison a 6 or whatever, subs role, but then I give him an extra half a point for heading the ball off the line, because it's a major incident in the game, isn't it? It's a major incident. So I'll always look at something like that. I'll always go, well, you know what, the performance was a 6, but he scored, so he's getting a 7. Or,
well, it's a key thing.
Of course it is.
That's the whole point of the game.
Of course it is.
Same for Pickford. Pickford could drop a few crosses, but if he makes one amazing save, that gets you the win. You'd have to bump it up because he's pulled off an important moment.
But I think whether people agree or not, I think most people will. They might necessarily agree with the scores as such, but I think they'll, or even that Zoom is top, but I think they'll agree with the logic and where they are. But I think that I think it comes across that we really need. I looked at that on Saturday actually when we played in the cup, and I looked at the team and I just thought to myself, there's not one player out there who, and maybe this is where Gomez, what could be really important about Gomez if we were to sign him and get him fully. And when I mean fully fit, I mean pre-season under your belt. A pre-season is the thing that gives you the show. It's not when you go to do that fitness, you need that core exercise. You've got to work on your core.
I'm not sure they talk
like
that.
They do. Yeah, they all talk like that when they talk core. That's what pre-season is. It's your core. That's what gets you through the season. That's what keeps you there. That's what stops you, picking up injuries or gets you through. And he hasn't had that. And I think if he had that, we'd see a little bit more from him. And I think if he hadn't dropped off with just fitness, which he certainly has, I think he would be a 7, or maybe a higher. But I think his performance would have been there. But I looked at that game on Saturday, and I just looked at it and thought, there's nobody in that side that you can hang your hat on and just say. And again, maybe Dean with the stamina and playing more of a full season, I'm sure he will get that actually. But I just look at that team and I just think that's what we're lacking so much in this team, is that maybe before this season, before last season, you looked at certain players and you go, well, you know what, Seamus Coleman is not having a great game, but he's dead important, and he's not having a good game, but his game's still a 7. Or someone like Phil Jagielka, he might be, he's doing what he needs to do, he's not doing anything amazing, but he's a 7. And that to me is the biggest problem with this Everton team at the moment, is that we're not there. Martinez's first season, Barry and McCarthy every week. Baines and Coleman every week. You know, and it didn't matter as much then if someone like Lukaku's on the fringes, because you know he'd pop up, or even someone like Deulofeu. Deulofeu might be in and out the game, but you know that everybody else, he'll create a big moment, or Lukaku will create a big moment, and everyone else is a 7, so we'll pull this team through. That's
how players like Kieran Dowell, for argument's sake, that's how they...
Man of the match, by the way, for Sheffield United.
He got man of the match. He did. At home, yeah, by Barnett. So we'll have Barnett at home, that'd be nice. But that's how people like Kieran Dowell become important footballers for their team, because all of the other parts of it, you can hang your hat on, you know, that level, and then that enables that silky player to have that 1 or 2 moments in a game that he turns the game for you. He's not in it all the time. When your level of the players drop, then the spotlight fully goes on them. So that's what's happened to him at Everton.
Well, that's where I would suppose someone like...
well, I'd say Walcott with that.
Yeah. But that's where I'd look at someone like the kid at City. Foden. That's what's going to... He's got potential. He looks a good player.
Yeah.
The level of everyone else will just pull him up, and we'll get... That's how he'll... Whereas you look at someone like Tom Davies, and you think struggling team, and it's like why Man United had all those players, John O'Shea, Wes Brown,
Phil
Neville, all these players,
Raphael,
all these players that played in a team every week with players who were a guaranteed 7, 8 every single week, and that their level just said to them, well, if you don't get up to a 7, you'll stand out like a sore thumb, and everyone will go, you were shit today. So they had to go up. I mean, and part of a good team as well makes it easier. And I just think that's what we're missing until we get 5, 6 players playing at a 7, and then that will enable other players who have to come into the team to go up to their level. We haven't got that.
No, and we haven't got. I said that done in me 3 things video. We haven't got any leaders in the team, and that's it. If you look at someone like James Milner at Liverpool, he's not the best Liverpool player they've got. He wasn't the best Man City player, but he's gone in there, and they play him and know what he's going to give them every single week. He'll get in, he'll get stuck in, he'll be there for them at the end. And them kind of players are worth the weight in gold. You look around, United have had it for years, and Spurs have got it. Like Eric Dyer, I think he's bang average, but he'll go in and put a performance in for Tottenham that helps them get results.
Well, City, I've got one in what's his name?
Delph.
Now, whether you like Delph or you don't like Delph, right? You watch that documentary, you see a different side of him. You see someone who walks in the dressing room, and even he's not the captain, but he was the most vocal player. Liverpool had Carragher when Gerrard was the captain. Carragher was the real captain. He'd be the first in there, moaning and shouting and stuff. I just wonder who does that at Everton.
This was my point in me, what I was saying about leaders, is that I look at Everton's squad, and you can kind of see it in your ratings. There's a lot of good players there, but it's great having that ability. But if you haven't got someone who's the fulcrum of it, you haven't got someone. I said in me video the other day, we've all played football at whatever level. It doesn't matter whatever level. Certainly in this city, whatever play, you always play with a fucking mouthy scouser. You've always had a lad in your team who fucking moans. If you didn't have anyone in your team who was the moaner, it was you. Quite simple as that. Like, I was the same, but that's why I become a player manager and everything later on, because
I was playing manager when I was 21.
No, I think I was 27 or something when I stopped playing. So you do that because you want to win so much. So you start. So even if I'd moaning when I was 18,
and I got
playing a thing. I moaned at Everton when I was at Everton. I moaned at Burnley. I was a moaning bastard, right? I was a moaning bastard because I wanted to win. And I would have a go with other people, but I would expect them to have a go with me. If I wasn't doing what I should have been doing, I didn't mind taking a bollocking, because what it'd do is it'd get my back up and I'd go and do it. Other lads I played with our asses who'd pull you into position and fucking tag you and all of that, right? But it made you a better player. I don't see that at Everton.
No.
On Saturday, when they scored, I seen one person moaning, right? And it was Pickford moaning at Zuma. Everybody else just walked away like that, with their heads to side. Spurs the other week, when the 4th and the 5th and the 6th went in, it was just like, oh yeah. And it's great having ability, but you haven't got someone who's going to go, what the fuck's going on here? And I see top teams have it. Fucking Henderson points a lot. City, Fernandinho, what a player he is, by the way.
Amazing.
Incredible, but he's another one he'll put. Even Dozier, Stones is moaning now. You see them, Delph, we've seen it on the video. Spurs, Dele Alli never fucking stops crying, and moaning and bitching. Ben Davies, Trippier, all the top sides have it. They have that moaner, that person that's going to go, what are you doing? We ain't got that. We've got lovely footballers. We've got a lot of ability. But until we get someone,
lovely footballers only get you so far. Exactly. You need that heart.
Them fucking things on the bleeding thing in Finch Farm. Hard work beats talent. It's not even that. Work hard. No, but you have to.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying. No, it's like we had Kale.
Yeah.
We had Neville. We had like Arteta in that side. We had Jagielka. We had players who were prepared to, fight for each other, but fight with each other. Prepared to walk in the room, close the door, and say, "Get it all out here."
It's levels.
And I'm not having a go at I'm not having a go at players for not having it. If you haven't got it, you haven't got it. No. But at some point, you've got to have someone who has got it, and then maybe someone at the club. This is why I said about Keane, possibly giving him the captain's armband, and maybe trying to draw it out to him and saying, "Do you know what, lads? We want you to be captain because we see something in you, because we want to start." Seeing you've played in the Premier, you've got a little bit of experience. Maybe it's too soon. Maybe it's like get a year under your belt at your consistency. And because someone like Keane, when he made that mistake against Leicester, it would be very easy to just go, "Oh, here we go again." But I think the better thing was like, he's made a mistake. Fine, you know what I mean. He's made a mistake. He only made a few this season. I mean, that many. All players will make mistakes, and I just think there might be someone in the squad that, I don't know, you can coax it out of them, but
otherwise we have to go and buy it.
Yeah, because it's just as important as having a wonderful left foot or.
Well, you've got to have, what you also have to have is, you have to have someone to take the manager onto the pitch. Marco Silva can stand there and move people around. He does. But you've got to have someone who sets the levels, and you've got to have someone who goes in and challenges other people.
I think the other thing about it is, I think we had this worst last season from what we were hearing, is it's that idea of so many new players at once, and players who, and the long-serving players maybe not in the side.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, who's going to take charge? Well, you've only been... It's like last season I wanted Rooney to have the captain's armband straight away, just to be going, do you know what? No, I know. Well, as we've seen again, he causes his own problems. It's that idea of being like Phil Neville did when he came in as captain. No matter what anyone says, Moyes knew exactly what he was doing. I've been there, I've done it, I've won it. What can... if anyone turns around and goes, "You've only been here for 5 minutes," it was because I was down the road winning all the trophies. So what do you want to have an argument? Because you've been here doing nothing. And I think I think last season was just like all these players, none of them playing well. So I think maybe it'll take time. Maybe someone will emerge once they've bedded in. Who's to say that? I don't know. Andre Gomez might sign permanently, and then as soon as he signs, he might go, "Now I feel like I've got the right." Do you know what I mean?
Mean it?
Yeah, I didn't mean it. But he's got it. Obviously, you've got to language. You've got to speak English.
But he's got the. To me, he seems like he's got the attributes to be a good captain.
Again, I look at them and I look at Van Dijk, and not only is he a good defender, a fantastic defender, but he organises. If you watch him on the pitch, he's the one organising. But I think he's inconsistent. But I'm not worried about him being inconsistent, because I remember only a couple of seasons ago, Van Dijk was very inconsistent for Southampton.
I still think he makes mistakes now.
Everyone makes mistakes. There's the people who make less mistakes. Yeah. The very, very best players in the world don't make hardly any mistakes, and then the tier below will make some mistakes, and then so on and so on and so on. But Mina might find that consistency, and then with better English and better understanding of what he wants, then he might go, I'm in charge here, this is my defence. Because I honestly feel that they've brought him in to be the number one centre-back, the commanding centre-back, the one who heads everything away, the one who be blocks, there, everything. At the moment, it's just not quite there. But you're right, it's something that we need. We need someone in a game that you can do that. And I feel that was quite telling actually at the weekend. Bringing Gomez on for me was like the manager going, do you know, I've had enough of this.
Well, he said, didn't he? Have you seen his thing yesterday? Explaining why he took the both of them off. And he just said basically to get some control of the game. He said we were losing control of it. In other words, Don wasn't keeping the ball for us, which he wasn't, and Tom was being outfought. And Gomez come on and without going round and getting in people's faces, he just got control of the football and got it on and passed.
And
I
think that's quite telling that, because if that's what if a manager feels like you've got control on the pitch, then I think that's where you can be that player. Because number one, that's the first thing you need, control. You need to be able to drag your team. You know when you can drag a team through a game is if you've got control of the game. It's the only way. So that could be telling for the future.
I just think we need it. It's not even as much as we like to see it a screamer and baller, but it's someone who sets the example, and that's where it might be Luca Dean in future, because he does. But Gerrard was brilliant at it for Liverpool. Alright, he'd moan and scream, but he'd also be able to take the game by the scruff of the neck and do it. So you watch. Kyle used to do it for us.
We're too nice.
Timmy would do it for us. He wasn't the greatest footballer around. We all know that.
Too nice. Too nice.
Well, it is. It's because you're trying to set standards. You won't win anything if you don't challenge yourselves and challenge yourself to be consistent, challenge yourself to be better. You won't win anything like that. I looked at Leicester the other day, and like I said the other day, there's not many I'd take from Leicester, one, maybe two, but they were making sure they got blocks in, and they were patting each other on the back even when they were making mistakes. They were there ready for it. We just don't seem to do that. We seem to be, I'm not saying we're not a team, and they don't like it, because they quite clearly do, and things are looking good, and all the reports you hear is that everything's great. But you've got to have someone on that pitch who makes you want to get better, and also, like the Spurs game, when it's spiralling almost, just goes, lads, hang on a sec, and get back, defend properly, stay in this game, because at the moment we're shipping goals.
That's actually a really good point, because that's someone then, that's like when, like the Spurs game's a good point actually, because they didn't feel like there was anyone on the pitch who was willing to challenge the authority of the manager in that game by going, and that sometimes that takes actually a tactical nous of the game as well. Whether you're the best player on the pitch or not, if you've got a tactical nous, and some players have got through their careers not being by the best player, but because they've got they tactically understood the game. And I think in a game like that, you need a player on the pitch who's willing to take on the manager, who's got the trust of the manager enough to go, we're getting swamped in here, we need to change something, and we need to just all drop 10 yards, stay in the game, get some control of it, because all that keeps on happening is they keep on chipping it over us because we're pushing forward. How can we stay in this game if we're going to be 4-0 down or whatever it is, you know what I mean? We'll see out this moment and then go again, because we can go again. There will be a time, and I don't see enough of that in the team. Sometimes I just think the team just blindly follow instructions because there's no one there. And to be honest, I find that with a lot of footballers now. There's a generation now of footballers who, because they get taken into academies when they're 8 or whatever, they're just robots. They follow instructions after instructions after instructions, and they never alter. And people say, why didn't he do this and why didn't he do that? Because the manager keeps on telling them to do it. Why does Pickford not come off the line? Because he's probably under instructions to stay on the line, and the manager will look at all that, because
that's fine, isn't it? That if that's what he thinks is the best way. I just think sometimes players have to take, I call it responsibility. You have to take responsibility for your role. The same with something as basic as stopping crosses.
Yeah.
Why aren't we stopping crosses? You know, cut it off at source. Don't have to deal with the second ball. Stop the cross.
I think one of the only times recently where I've looked at players who were getting a grip of a game was the Burnley game. Whereas I watched players just go meaning and stuff, just lash the ball down the pitch. We're winning, or there's a situation that we can do without. Because you can, as a fan, and we've seen this recently as well, the likes of the Brighton game, where you can see the game's turning, And it's the most frustrating thing in the world. You can see the game turning. You know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes if something doesn't change. And you're sitting there as a fan going, make a sub, or do something, or someone just do something that changes the path of this game. Otherwise, we know where it's going. And there's not enough of that as well. There's not enough of that where players understand, or even the manager. It's a weird one, the way they don't get where, I don't know, where it's almost like managers go, well, we can ride out this period, it'll be alright. But I think sometimes it's a difficult balancing act. But
you'd also have to have that. We've seen it with Leicester, the responsibility of when they scored. It was like, just kill this game for 10 minutes. Every time he come forward, Maguire, they just lash it back down the pitch, and you go, there we go. And then it just kills the crowd. It kills any momentum. It kills the crowd. That's what Lincoln did the other day. They keep it going down injured. Everton had just had a head of steam built up there. He'd had to make a couple of good saves, a couple of good clearances, and then he just went down. And it's to try and break the game. It's clever. It's gamemanship. And I just don't like it when you're the one on the receiving end. But imagine us being 2-1 up at Old Trafford or Liverpool, and the goalie Pickford goes down, and you can see them getting frustrated.
The classic one is 5 minutes to go, you make a sub. You know you're making the sub, so the player runs to the other side of the pitch, and then just slowly walks off, and everyone's cheering at him and giving the who's coming off? Oh, it me? And then makes the way off, and everyone's cheering him, and you're just like, nah,
break the game.
That was on the other side. We'd be.
Remember thingy like up at a year when we beat Newcastle up there, and Rooney was coming off, and he like walked the other way. Then he went down over, and even all the veins were bulging, and he's winking as he's walking. Because he did have, that's the thing, Rooney did have that, and that's what I think, that's where we need someone. And I think if we had that Roy Keane character, I don't know whether you could get someone like that now, but that kind of character who would challenge the players to be better, I think your ratings you'd find them ratings then are creeping over the 7s, which you'd also then find Everton are a lot closer to the top 6, because we're making sure we do the right things. We wouldn't be losing games against Brighton and Leicester, because we'd be challenging each other. To, you know, Leicester beat us, but either side of beating us, they got beat around by Cardiff and lost at Newport. So, you know, there's that kind of thing where we've got a run of games coming up now where you'd say are winnable, but after the run we've just had, but no games.
If players don't roll up their sleeves and dig in and have their mentality challenged, and listen, it's not even about playing well, it's about getting through games. It's about, especially this time of year, it's about just digging in and winning games of football. That's what gets you anywhere in the Premier League. It's digging in. You can play pretty football all season. Doesn't mean you're going to win games of football. No. You've got to be prepared to dig in, and that's something that just slightly worries me about this side, that I don't see enough, or don't see enough people saying, come on, let's dig in. And you're right, when you can see the stupid goal, it's all, where is it should be? What the fuck were you doing there? Why are you doing that again?
Do you when you look, this before we finish, when you look at this side, do you think enough of them want to keep a clean sheet? I don't think they're asked.
No.
And I think that's where you start. You have to want to make sure that you don't let a goal in. And that to me comes from the fucking goal.
I've said that before. I think we've said that when things like when you stop in crosses, that if the cross doesn't get in, it's not necessarily appreciated. You just get on. But if it goes in and something happens, and you go, why didn't you stop the cross? You've got to be willing to do the things that aren't going to be applauded and aren't even going to be noticed half the time. You know, I said it before. The ball comes up the pitch and it's a centre half versus the centre forward. Now, if a centre back gets a good header on it and it lands from midfielder, now it can be a goal in no time. Players are that good now. If the centre forward goes to challenge him, no, he's not going to win it, but puts him off it. You know, we seen the other one the other weekend, Watford, when they scored their second goal, and I know Seamus completely got caught out, but people will look at that and go, I'd have no chance. Well, if he got up and put the lad off header in it, the lad's putting it over the bar or putting it wide, he's not getting a free run on it. It's those things that, I'm not saying we do, but they're the things you have to do, you know, to win games of football.
Isn't it?
It is.
If you say many times, it's fractions in games. Everyone's got good footballers. The ones who finish near the top are the lads who turn up and get 8 every single week. You know, if you were rating Man City or Liverpool or Tottenham, I guarantee you most of their players would be 7.5, 8 on an average by now, and that's why they're near.
But it's not even. It's not
turning up week
but
in.
It's not just that, is it? It's the idea of I'll give someone a 7 if I think they've done what they needed to do on that day. Doesn't matter if they weren't brilliant, if there was no flair, if they turn up and put a shift in and do their job, they're getting a 7. And I think that reflects it, that there's nobody even on a 7 in the entirety of our squad, and that's my base mark, a 7. So I think that says it all. Anyway, let us know your thoughts.
I still think Luca Dean should be above 7, but that's just me.
Well, there you go, that's good. You've been the making up, didn't you?
No, you do that. I like that fact that you do. It's good.
Yeah, so you're doing the job then.
Well, not so the other thing.
Thinking.
The 3 things. So.
Anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Let us know. Do you agree? Let me know if you agree with them for the first place.
Zuma, so far the best Everton player.
Maybe it's because he's got the same beginning of his second name is the same as the person who put them all together.
Okay.
Just saying. Let us know your thoughts if you agree, disagree. You'll all agree.
Maybe it's Kurt Zuma who's actually Mark Job.
Oh my God. See, I can't do anagrams, but I'm probably sure that Kurt Zuma is an anagram. I'm not saying what it's an anagram of. Oh, okay. I'm just saying it's an anagram of something.
Something, of course it is.
It all makes sense.
It does. Trombone.
That's it.
Yeah. Can't argue with science.
You can't argue. You literally can't argue with science.
And that was science.
Because if you start arguing it, you'll end up looking like him. Science. See?
This is science.
It's amazing.
See you later.